Hi, I'm Anthony Fahad Johnson, founder and creator of Hustlers Redemption Intergroup. Today we'll be shooting step 4 and 5. This intergroup is started to help the hustler that is sick from the disease of hustler's addiction. Today we'll be going over step 4 and 5. I want you to go to YouTube before you look at this one and view the other ones, 1, 2, and 3. But if you haven't, we can start off with step 4 and be just as grateful. Today, step 4 says, we made a searching inventory of all the craziness we did in the name of the almighty illegal dollar to feed our egos and fill up the emptiness we had in ourselves. Step 4 asks us to do an inventory of ourselves. Remember, step 1, we had to admit something. In step 2, we had to come to believe. And then in step 3, we made a decision. Now we're asking, well, it would behoove you. It's only a program of suggestions. It would behoove you to make a searching and fearless inventory of all the craziness we did in the name of the almighty legal dollar. Now, if I look back and I do my inventory, I did some real crazy things in the name of this almighty illegal dollar. I enslaved people. I enslaved myself. I did a lot of crazy nonsense. Now that I'm in my right state of mind, I would never even think about doing for the almighty illegal dollar. I was sick and suffering. Step 4 asks us to do an inventory of the craziness we did so we don't have to be sick and suffering anymore. We did a lot of things. Well, I'm going to keep it on I don't know about you. I did a lot of crazy things in the name of the almighty legal dollar that I said to feed my family, but really my family was on the back burner when I was making this money because I didn't spend time with my kids. You know, I neglected my significant other because I was out in the streets. The streets was my girl. I was married to this game. That was my wife. That was my family. The game was my family. If you was about to make some money, we was into this game to make some money, you was my family. I treated you better than family. If you had the bricks and I wanted to buy the bricks, I treated you better than family. I enslaved some people, man. You know, people on drugs will just about do anything to get the drug, you know? So I did an inventory of myself and I said, wow, I'm kind of sad, I'm kind of shameful of some of the things I did to people to get this money. But after I did this inventory, I came to a state of sanity to where I can no longer do these things anymore. Because I already admitted that I had a problem. Then I came to believe that I could be lifted from this problem. Then I made a decision. So now I'm doing this inventory so I can stay on my sanity. Any store that doesn't have an inventory will go broke. I don't care what type of store. If you go and sell, you buy and buy, you're not doing your inventory, the store is going to go down. Same thing in life. You have to do an inventory in your life because doing life, you're going to make some mistakes, whether you're in this hustling game or just living life on life terms. But if you do an inventory, did I hurt somebody today? Did I offend somebody today? Once you do an inventory, you'll be like, you know what? I treated that person wrong. Maybe I need to make some type of amends to them. Because I didn't want that person to treat me like that. So once you start to live life on life's terms, you start to treat people the way you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Even though they might treat you bad, you still treat them a certain type of way because that's what you want to be happening to you. So in this inventory about the craziness I did for this almighty illegal dollar to feed my ego, because a lot of things I just wanted to feed my ego. You know, I've already made enough money to feed my family. My family was good, but I stayed in the game because I was addicted. I was addicted. My ego said, I am nobody without this thing, without these bricks, without these keys. I'm nobody without that. I'm nobody without this BMW. I'm nobody without this Ferragamo belt. I'm nobody without this. So this thing had fed my ego to a place to where I couldn't live without being in the game. That was my identity. I chose that as my identity, and my identity ruled my life into the penitentiary. Step 4 goes on to say, to feed our egos and to fill up the emptiness we had in ourselves. I had an emptiness inside of me because I needed you to validate who I was. Because I really didn't know who I was for a lot of years. I was like 40 years old before I started to find out who I really was. So I had a lot of emptiness inside of me, and I wanted you to think I was somebody I really wasn't. But if I had this money and this car and these damn drugs, you would think I was anybody, and I could tell you I was anybody, and you would believe me. Because you was in love with the money. You was in love with this facade, this made-up person. This wasn't who I was when I had a lemonade stand in front of my mother's house on Heck Avenue in Neptune, New Jersey. That wasn't who I was. I didn't care. I mean, you got to think about when you do your inventory, you be like, you know what? I like these clothes, and I like, you know, being a label whore. You gotta admit that. Some of us are label whores. You know what I'm saying? It's something we got to do in our inventory that will come out in your inventory. Be like, you know what? I spent some unnecessary money on some labels that, like, really? After you think about it, you be like, damn, I'm a label whore. It's crazy, but it'll come out in your inventory once you do the inventory. But I had some emptiness inside of me because I remember, you know, when I was younger, you know, I had friends and stuff like that, but I wanted everybody to like me, and I cared about what people thought about me. So it was emptiness I had inside of me that needed to be filled, and I found that everybody would like me if I had this damn bag. Everybody. The girls, the people across the street, their mama, they'd be like, oh, he's doing fine. I'll tell you the insanity about, I'm gonna bring up a little history, right? The insanity about where I grew up with. I grew up at Asbury Park, New Jersey. If you sold powder, everybody accepted you. Back in the 80s, powder cocaine was like marijuana, like you smoke marijuana today. Powder cocaine, you know what I'm saying, was sociable. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't breaking people, so it was sociable. So if you was a big drug dealer like my cousins, I won't say their name, they might try to sue me later on in the thing. But you know, if you had that bag, man, they had that bag heavy, and I was young. So I admired that. They had the 98s and the Jeeps. You know, I admired, they had the big gold chain. I said, wow, I don't really want to be that hip hop thing, because I've always been on that smooth, you know, Gap, Tommy Hilfiger thing since back in the day. But you know, I wanted the luxury they had. So I got in the game. I even switched my game to something they wasn't selling. I said, I'll be the only one in town that had. When I was 16, 17 years old, the drug I sold, nobody had it in the town. So you had to come see me to get it. And that filled me up. That made me exclusive from everybody else in the town. So everybody was like, yo, where Tone Johnson at? Where Tone Johnson at? You know what I'm saying? We didn't even have cell phone and pages right there. So if you didn't catch me in the house, you had to catch me at the disco. I used to go to this place called Club 12, so you'd always catch me there. But anyway, I had an emptiness inside of me that these people filled up for me. And I lost contact with my original self. If you do your inventory, you can remember when you was little and you was in a sandbox and you come in, all you thought about was going in the house and getting a snack. You didn't care if your hair was dirty, your pants was dirty. You just wanted to go out in the sandbox and play and play football. I remember them days. I remember playing Pop 1. I didn't care what I looked like. I was out there hitting. I was getting tackles. You know, my coach patted me on my back. But when I seen this guy with this bag and it's 98, you know, that pat on my back from my coach was no longer a pride to me. I wanted this damn bag. I wanted this money. I wanted this prestige that my cousins and them had. And I diverted me from my primary purpose, and I lost all sense of reality. Step 4 goes on to say, to fill up the emptiness we had in ourselves. I'm 50 years old now, and like I said, it's been the last 10 years I'm starting to find out who I really am, what makes me happy, what I can do without, what I can't do without, and what's really necessary in life and how to live life on life's terms, because a lot of times I didn't know how to live life on life's terms because I wasn't living a real life. I was living this fantasy life that's not even a reality. I'm living a facade. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get a Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton been dead since 1890s. Why would I enslave myself to buy a Louis Vuitton belt? That man been dead since 1890. Why? Because I was caught up in this facade. If you said it was hot, I wanted it to be hot, and I wanted to be hot with it. So the last 10 years, I've learned to fill myself up with just, you know, having my little music on. You know, I love that house music, and I had that house music on, and I'm happy. You know, I'm happy doing this Intergroup. I'm not making a lot of money yet. I plan to make some money off of it, but when it does, and if it does, it does. If I save a soul from going to the penitentiary, going to Trenton State, going to Sing Sing and spending the rest of his life in it, I've done my job, and may Allah reward me. See, once you get a certain type of age, even, and I try not to get religious in these videos, but it states in the footnotes to the Quran, it says that the Prophet Muhammad didn't see revelation until he was 40 years old. A man doesn't come spiritually endowed till he's about 40 because he's running the streets, he sees everything, and he's chasing the facade. He's chasing mirage, and when he gets to it, you ever ask you a question? Have you ever got to a place and got to this status and you still wasn't happy? You got the pretty girl, you got the picket fence, you got the brand new 2 cars, and then you found out you still wasn't happy? Because you didn't have a foundation yourself. So once you get knowledge of self, as the brothers would say, well, I got it. Once you got knowledge of yourself, you was happy and content with what you had. There's nothing wrong with wanting more, but you would go through the right channels to get it. And that fills up the end of it. But that'll all come out in your inventory. That's what the 4th step's all about. Step 5, excuse me. We admit it to ourselves, and another human being how this hustling game has destroyed our value system, warped our way of thinking, and made us justify the craziest way of life known to man. Now, this is a big step. When I wrote this, I said, damn, that's a fire step right there. I said, that's fire. That's what the people need to hear. You know, when I wrote these steps, man, I thought about what the people needed. I thought of what I needed in my life to keep me to a state of sanity. Let me read that again. We admitted to ourselves. I had to admit this shit to myself first. Then I admitted it to you. That this shit crazy, man. You think you keep going to get the bag and you're not going to get caught. This shit is crazy. We keep on going back to the penitentiary, giving our lives to the penitentiary, giving our lives to this pilgrim up north, eating Jack Mac and rice out of a can. You know what I'm saying? I hit you with this one. You went from eating steak and lobster at City Island to eating fish steaks and shrimp soups out of a fucking can in the penitentiary. How does that happen? And then after you get some sanity and let you go again, you go back and do the same outrageous, crazy shit again. See, that's the insanity and the cityness of disease of hustler's addiction. That's what Hustler's Redemption is all about. To bring you back to a state of mind to where you're back in your original sanity when you was in the sandbox. So we're gonna go on with the step. We admitted to ourselves and another human being how this hustling game has destroyed our value system. This shit has destroyed your value system. Anyway, you go and pick up this brick. You know the feds. I remember back in the 80s, I knew the police used to come sit in the alleyway and watch us. How many people used to go in the apartment? We knew they was coming and we still didn't stop. I got raided in February 1989. They used to sit right there and see the traffic flow in and out. And not in an unmarked car, they in the blue and white, and I ignored it. I said, if they ain't coming, they ain't coming. I don't get this damn money. How outlandish and how warped is my value system. I remember when I got raided, may Allah rest my mother's soul, some lady at a job was like, ooh, talking about a joint, because my mother didn't read the paper. I made the first page of the Trentonian. And my mom, like I said, she didn't read the paper, and the lady knew who I was, you know what I'm saying, who I was down with, and my mom was so embarrassed, and I hurt my mom. May Allah forgive me how I hurt my mom when I caught that raid, man, and made that paper, man, of my warped way of value system. I didn't value my mother. I didn't value myself. All I was worried about was getting this paper to drive this Audi, to ride around Trenton, New Jersey like I was the man, because I was with the man, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a warped way of thinking. Now that I think about it, after I did my inventory and after I admitted to you this warped way of thinking, destroyed our value systems. The value system is destroyed in the hustler. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that he just took everybody's food stamp, that that child is not going to eat because his mama or his daddy didn't took everything out the house to sell to them. I remember we used to buy Christmas toys, and it's 2 days before Christmas. How fucked up is your value system that you will buy somebody's Christmas toys and you know that kid ain't gonna have no damn Christmas? Now, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I did when I was in a Muslim. But how, you know, you took away from a kid. How? Oh, somebody else will do it. Why not me? Ain't worry about them. It's about you. It's about your value system. A warped way of thinking has made us justify the most craziest way of life. Justify this shit. Oh, I'm doing this to feed my family. Justification. How do you say that? But because after you get raided, you go up north, you done spent all your motherfucking money, your family is taking care of you. So how can I justify this is to feed my family? No, I did this to feed my ego. I did this to pop bottles with models at the bar. That's why I did this. I did this because I didn't have a fucking clue who I was, and I needed to find myself, and you told me I was this joker, and I wanted to be that joker. But at the end of the day, man, I didn't want to pay that price, man. I know brothers that ain't never going home, brothers that in Trenton, they used to be right there on that same block of me in Trenton State Prison. I know brothers in Sing Sing and Clinton that ain't never coming home. Wish they would have this opportunity to come home and shoot this video on what I'm doing today. So I praise the law. Hustlers Redemption Intergroup will help. If you or a loved one have a problem with hustler's addiction, please contact us. Please contact us. If you're looking at this video and you don't know anyone or you're not a hustling addict, please share it, like it, share it with the next people. Let's save some people's lives. Hustlers Redemption Intergroup. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching. I think I blazed that one.